Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to this part 2 of the dig at Shrewsbury Castle. I'm your host, Alex Whiteley, of course. I'm stood at the ditch, the trench on the grounds of the castle, and it looks completely different to what me and Max saw last week. And next to me is Nigel. How's it going, sir? You okay?
Yeah, okay. Hi, good morning.
How have things been? I haven't seen you since last week. A lot has changed, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's been kind of crazy. We've had loads of visitors, members of the public coming to have a look round. You know, we've had a fair number of official bodies, come to kind of see what we're doing with their money and, basically kind of inspect us. And it's been really kind of crazy at one level, but very happy on another level, in the sense that, we're making good progress here, and a lot of people have come to see us, and it turns out to have been their first outing since lockdown. So we had the editor of one of the big archaeology periodicals out yesterday going, hey, this is the only excavation I've visited since last February. So, I think it's a pat on the back for everybody who's worked here, that we've managed to do it, cross fingers, touch wood, so far, without endangering anybody's health, and nobody's got ill, and we've still got the job done.
You've done, it's so much deeper. And you did what you said you were going to do. Last time we were here, there was the slabs that were down from the floor of the greenhouse, and you're like, we're going to take them up, and that's what you did. Now you're a lot deeper. I guess with having this as an archaeological dig for the first one since lockdown, for archaeologists to have seen the equivalent of, sport being back or the soaps being back, because it's what you guys enjoy. It's your passion, right?
Yeah, and most of the work that most archaeologists do takes place on private property behind closed fences, as part of a planning system. So, the usual routine is somebody applies for planning permission for a development, the local planning authority says, okay, get some archaeologists to check it out, and you do that work, but it's basically between you and the developer and the local planning authority, and it all becomes public very quickly, but it's not quite the same as having hundreds of visitors every day
You've created a hell of a buzz. I mean, I know I saw Shrewsbury Council been doing vlogs. I saw them. They're very, very impressive, actually. I was quite impressed. And you've had the BBC here as well, I believe.
Yes, Radio Shropshire was here this morning. Most of the media's been here, and we know that, particularly, I've got to pay tribute to the communications team of Shropshire Council, who've done an absolutely fantastic job. And two things basically tell me that they've done a fantastic job. The first is that when I went to do some shopping in Shrewsbury Market last weekend, the young woman who runs the bookstall said, oh, it's you doing the castle. She has people all morning going, where can we find out about the castle? And everybody knew what was going on, and everybody wanted to know more. And then the second thing is, my mother-in-law lives in New Jersey, and I got an email from her a few days ago to say, hey, you're on YouTube's front page alongside President Trump.
Nice.
Which is a kind of, well, what can I say? It's an honour, but a slightly dubious honour. But let's skate over that one.
But this is what you've done, though. I mean, you got Shrewsbury popping up all over the world. New Jersey. That's brilliant. You've raised the awareness for historic Shrewsbury, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what it's all about. It's not really, a bunch of academics wanting to have a head scratch and satisfy their personal curiosity about what happened in Shrewsbury Castle 900 years ago. That's part of the mix, but mostly it's about saying to everybody, Shrewsbury is a fantastic historic town, and it's got this amazing site in it, Shrewsbury Castle, which has got this really powerful history behind it, blood and guts, and fine living as well. And we're exploring all sorts of aspects of that in the full glare of publicity and reminding everybody what an amazing asset this place is.
Beautiful, very poetic. So Nigel, tell me what I'm looking at right now, because obviously last time you were a lot higher up, now you're really deep. You're down there.
I mean, basically what you're looking at is a hole that's 4 metres by 3 metres at the top and goes down just over a metre. And you can see in the walls of a trench loads and loads of plastic tags with numbers on, each one stuck in an individual layer. Like we've got 4 or 5 layers of gardeners' bonfires. We've got a big thick layer of tile rubble, which we reckon is down to the famous, maybe even notorious Thomas Telford, father of civil engineering and basically a bit of a local hooligan in terms of Shropshire's heritage. But we've gone down below that and we're into layers of earth which we're not sure if they formed slowly or actually dumped there, but they basically arrived there about 1300 AD. So we're right back in, peak castle, if I can put it that way. We're back in, in the Middle Ages and, in the period when Shrewsbury Castle was at its most extensive and at its greatest.
Fantastic. And as in regards to St Michael's Chapel.
Yeah, well, I mean, the analogy I use is like, imagine you're playing battleships, okay? And you've just got the resources to put your cross on one grid square. And it might well be that the Chapel of St Michael's is actually under your feet right now, but we're 2 metres away from that, and we've not found it. And it's just too bad, but that's the way it goes.
It's like a really slow game of darts, trying to find the right spot when you can't see what you're aiming at.
Yeah, and you get 1 dart a year for 2 years.
And there's lots of science involved. I mean, the geophysics, the geology, obviously the history, the finds that you've been finding. What have you found that give you clues to what's going on here?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is kind of the ultimate multidisciplinary exercise in the sense that it's not just archaeologists. We have to explore the written history, so we need historians. We had a silver coin out a couple of weeks ago now, so we need to get a numismatist in to look at that. We have our pottery specialist all lined up in Birmingham. She's the greatest expert on the medieval pottery of this part of the country, so she's going to get a big box full of pottery through the post. We're beginning to talk about where we're going to find expertise to look at the animal bones, because we've had a lot of food waste in the form of bits of animal bones. We've had identifiable bits of cows and pigs and sheep and so on, some with butchery marks on, but we're also getting fish bones. We had what seemed to be the jaw of a pike yesterday, and this is the sort of thing that gets historians of animals and food production really exciting, because it reflects high status feasting. It's like wherever people have excavated castles in the last 20 or 30 years, you always get a lot of food waste. And basically, when you analyse what the bones are, they turn out to be kind of game species, and the sort of things that, your average kind of Joe from Shrewsbury wouldn't have ate because they couldn't have afforded it if they'd tried, if they wanted to buy it, and they would have been done for poaching and been in big trouble if they'd have actually fished it out, netted it out the river. So, we're getting a lot of interesting food remains that are kind of, is high status. We're seeing evidence of high status feasting.
Well, that's the age-old movie scene, isn't it? In a castle. I imagine what this is like. The banquet with the beer swilling and the meat and the throwing the bones for the dogs and the fly. That's what I see in movies. Is that kind of what that is a hint at? Maybe.
Yeah, it is. It is. It really is. Life was a bit like that, and while I hate sort of seeing all these old Hollywood films of Robin Hood, because they show the towns of that period as like 3 thatched huts standing in a field, and for Shrewsbury that it was dripping with wealth. You had sort of 4 extremely wealthy churches, wool merchants who had money enough to lend to the king at the time. It was, by the standards of its age, a fabulously wealthy place. So of course Shrewsbury Castle is going to reflect that, and we know that success successive kings lavished a lot of money on Shrewsbury Castle. So Henry II, in the later 1100s, he spent a fortune on fortifying Shrewsbury Castle. We're standing within sight of the museum building, the Soldiers of Shropshire Regimental Museum building, but we know that was built as a private apartment for Henry III in the 1230s, and we know that it cost an arm and a leg, and by arm and a leg I mean like 650 quid or thereabouts. But in those days, that was like millions.
Fantastic. What's the most exciting find that you've got, or discovery that you've made, should I say?
If you're talking about objects, then it's got to be what I kind of christened our medieval Blue Peter badge. We had a little bronze badge shaped like a shield, just about an inch high, but it's a real piece of Middle Ages history. We think it was a livery badge, and like a civilian would have worn it on his coat, basically to express his allegiance to a particular lord. So if a bunch of men-at-arms turned up and gave him a hard time about something, you could say, hey, watch it, sunshine, so-and-so is my lord, and you're going to have big trouble if you mess with me.
A bit like a MAGA hat right now.
yeah, I didn't want to go there, but that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I know you've got a lot to do, and I don't want to keep you too long. After the dig's done, does the work continue, and sort of how long will you be working?
Yeah. I mean, I know it's a cliche, but digging the hole, if it doesn't sound too daft, is the tip of the iceberg.
Yes.
Because, what you see here is the prelude to weeks and weeks and weeks of work, and a lot of, admin kind of arranging, to get boxes of material to labs, and to generate a bit of additional funding to get the experts to look at the material that they're expert in.
Yeah, put that jigsaw puzzle together.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah. Well, Nigel, throughout this whole process, it's been first of all, we met for the first time. We did the great tours that we did. You came on my show, and we've done this as well. It's been amazing spending time with you. It's
been great fun.
Yeah, and hopefully you get that dig you need, and you find something the pièce de résistance.
Well, we've got about 4 hours to do it, because digging finishes around lunchtime or early afternoon, because basically we need to get everything dug we're going to dig. We need to get that dug done today. We've got to record, we want to be good archaeologists, we've got to record everything properly, and basically we've got a team of large young men coming in with shovels tomorrow morning. More students from University Centre Shrewsbury who've done a fantastic job throughout the whole project, and basically it's like tomorrow morning the earth starts to go back in the hole.
Yeah, you've been amazing. Thank you so much. I won't keep you for too much longer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Alex. I'm from the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Dr. Morn Capper from the University Centre Shrewsbury.
Hi, is this your first day at the dig, or have you been here?
I'm afraid I've been here all along. I'm a lecturer, and I've got a load of students up there doing some sieving.
I see them. Yeah, they're looking very enthusiastic. How's it been for you? Has this been really, enjoyable?
It's fantastic. The students were supposed to come back to an induction of online kind of lectures and video induction, and instead we're here in the castle, we're here looking at Henry III's hall, we're here digging beneath what we know to find out what we don't know about the medieval period. We found coins, we found a medieval livery badge, we found loads of really cool stuff, and what's been brilliant is the public have been here throughout. And this is such a nice green space, and it's a green space in the middle of Shrewsbury. Local people in quite a tightly packed, tightly knit town come here for a bit of rest and relaxation, and they can see us digging a castle.
It must be amazing, because obviously lockdown, or you come out, nobody's really getting out and doing any sort of practical work, like you said. So this must be an absolute breath of fresh air for people.
It is, and we've been out of the classroom too long, but also we've risk assessed the hell out of this. So students are all at 1 metre plus social distancing or 2 metre social distancing. We're outside, they're wearing masks. So we've done a lot to make sure that people in Shrewsbury can come and have a chat with us, but also that the students themselves are safe. And we've also had the students making digs, they've been writing blogs, they've been making little displays there, talking to members of the public. So everyone in Shrewsbury really owns this dig. They can come down and find out from us what's going on with it.
Fantastic. Have you done many of these digs before?
We dug the same part of the castle last year. If you look over there, you can see where the moat ditch we dug last year, where I was lucky enough to find 2 arrowheads, so I wasn't complaining about that at all.
Fantastic.
And working at the university, we like to look at not only how the castle itself is, but then think about how that's going to be looked after into the future. So we're finding the story of the castle in the 13th century. I found a really nice coin the other day. But also then we're looking at how that can be looked after for people in Shrewsbury for the future as well. So how can it be used? In what ways can maybe the profile of the castle be raised? The students are writing dig blogs and getting that information out there for people.
Nigel used the perfect analogy of battleship earlier. That was fantastic. He said you've had 1 peg, well 2 I guess now, to put in your battleship board. Do you reckon you'll get another bite of the cherry? There's been a lot of interest, hasn't there? I mean, the media have been all over this.
There's so much we don't know here. There's so much standing fabric here, for one, and Historic England are here today to help us to find out a little bit more about that standing fabric, the standing walls, the Thomas Telford, the Henry III. But we've also got the moat there, and the moat might have been built under William the Conqueror, but then half of it fell into the River Severn, and so there's also work by Edward I up there. So there's lots of different periods that we can look at, and I would love to have another go at this.
Well, you've been fantastic to speak to, and I know you've only got 4 hours left. So I hope something amazing comes up in that time.
I hope so too, but I think, even if we don't find, a pot of gold or something, we've still found out a lot more about what this isn't. This isn't Thomas Telford, this is medieval rampart.
It's the investigation though, isn't it? It's the fun of the chase.
Oh yeah,
right?
We'll be back next year if they let us. We'll be in the hole.
You've been amazing to talk to. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for coming.
Thanks. How's it going? My name's Alex. I'm from the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Ryan.
How's it going, Ryan? What are you doing today? I've just seen you sat on top of dirt. Looks like you're sieving through.
Well, yeah, I've been sat on a big pile, like a big mound of dirt this morning, just sieving through tons of it. We've just been finding loads of really interesting things this morning. Mostly just bone and pottery, but, it's quite interesting to find out these kind of things. It all adds up, to the bigger picture, the bigger story of what was going on here.
And this is your first time doing something like this?
Oh yeah, this is like a brand new experience for me, but just in 3 days it's been really good. It's been really interesting. I've done quite a few different things.
It's better than like studying and doing lectures through Zoom and home, being out and about, getting hands on is good.
Yeah, definitely outdoors is a much more interesting experience, I think. Yeah, I've spent a lot of time behind the desk, so I really want to get my hands dirty, quite literally.
Yeah, quite literally. Is history what you're studying?
Yeah, I studied history for 3 years at Aberystwyth.
Okay.
And obviously I live in Shropshire, so this is far more convenient for me to get here and stuff. And, there's been a lot of opportunities already. I haven't even started the course yet. It starts in October and I've already been, invited to come out and do, something like this.
Is this what you'd imagine it would be? I used to enjoy time team when I was a kid. I don't know, you're a bit younger than me, but is this what you thought it would be?
Well, there's a lot more physicality to it. For the past few days it's been quite warm as well, so I've been put to work by the team really. But it can be a little bit monotonous, just going through more dirt. But then you do find something that can be really interesting.
What's the best find you've had today so far?
Well, today the most interesting thing has been some giant cow bones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Nigel's explained to me. Oh, what's that?
Oh, something else. Yeah, just like big chunks of bone, basically, but
Is that what that is? Big knuckle bone?
Yeah, big knuckle bone, shoulder maybe.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Nigel was saying that's really significant, though, because it explains meals, class,
absolutely,
it's really important.
It hasn't just been like domestic animals, we've also found things like deer, possibly, pike.
Game.
So it undoubtedly would have, like a pike would have come from the Severn just below us, Deer would have come from the forests, which, the upper classes would have managed to
have sent someone out to bring it back, I guess.
So it's all these small things, although, just upon appearance you might say, that's a bit boring, but it's all part of the larger experience, the human story that happened here at Shrewsbury.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I won't keep you much longer. I know you've only got 4 hours to get this done. But it's been amazing chatting to you, and I hope you find something spectacular.
Cheers, thank you.
Thank you very much. Cheers. I do believe we have a special message for someone who was on the last version of this, part 1. So what's the message?
Yeah, Tim, I'm looking at a massive pile of tiles here, massive pile of crockery, massive pile of mud. I've got students on top of it. We wish you were here, mate. Happy birthday.
Lovely. Brilliant. I'm going to end it here actually, and then I'm going to put my mic away and walk home because I'm tired. Keep it short and sweet. Historic England want to get in here and do their thing. But yes, this is going to be the conclusion for this. Maybe in a few weeks, when everything's been categorised and conclusions have been made, we can get people in the studio and talk about what's actually gone on here. But yeah, this is Alex Wiley signing out. Peace out.